Welcome. Today we're counting down our picks for the best NASCAR games that you should check out. And without further ado, let's dive right in.
Focus forward here.
NASCAR Rivals. Before I say anything else, let me tell you that not everything on this list is a true NASCAR game. Some are, while others are racing games with NASCAR or stock car racing elements, and some even require mods to experience NASCAR or stock racing. I think it's a good idea for this video to include various types of games. Anyway, if you own a Switch, this might be for you since it's a Switch exclusive. It's not the greatest NASCAR game ever, but if you're on the move, I think it's good enough for some fun sessions during your travel.
You're clear right here. Car there on the inside.
NASCAR Arcade Rush. Now, if you were expecting a true NASCAR game, meaning you'll race on official NASCAR tracks in actual NASCAR cars, you might be disappointed with this one. This game is actually an arcade racer designed for kids or people who have no problem playing arcade racing games, like me. I think they aim to create a modern version of Daytona USA, but let's just say nothing beats Daytona USA. Anyway, if you're interested in a simple arcade racing game with NASCAR slapped into its title, give this one a try.
Get focused. This is it. Get focused. This is it. Get focused.
NASCAR 21 Ignition. This game was roasted by the community at its launch due to various bugs, glitches, and overall quality. However, it's actually playable now, and you can have some fun with it. Yeah, there, I said it. That being said, Heat 4 or 5 is definitely a more complete and less glitchy experience, but that doesn't mean this one is unplayable. With this game, you can lower the number of cars on track to 20 to make a pretty solid stock car racing experience. So, at the end of the day, maybe give this one a try, obviously if it's on sale.
We gotta go to work now. We gotta go to work.
NASCAR 15. This title was actually a solid game. It has realistic AI, decent tire wear, and graphics that held up well. But many people believed the PC port wasn't the best, just so you know. Fast forward, and we're stuck with mostly worse games, though not all of them. But after jumping back into NASCAR 15, it's clear it's still the better game. In the end, if you grew up with this, I think it's worth revisiting. This is easily one of the best modern NASCAR games released in the 2010s. Tony Stewart's All-American Racing. Now, this one is not a NASCAR game, and it doesn't even have NASCAR cars in it. But if you love to turn left endlessly, this one is for you. In this game, you've got 3 unique vehicle types, letting you slide in a way that feels more realistic thanks to the new physics engine. Oh, and don't forget the 25-player online multiplayer, championship mode, quick race, and even split screen for those late-night game sessions. However, the split screen obviously won't do much good for most of you since it requires you to have a friend. A real one, I might add.
Inside. All clear.
rFactor 2 with mods. This one is a sim racing game, but with some mods, you can race on oval tracks and start pretending like you're getting paid to turn left. It's not the most popular sim for NASCAR fans, but with enough imagination, you can feel what it's like to be a pro. And if you're wondering whether it's worth it now, the answer is a solid yes. I've been dabbling in various sims, but there's something raw and natural about this game that just feels right. In short, if you're a sim racer, you need to try it.
Outside. All clear. Forza 17.44. Right middle.
Green flag. Got a car low now.
NASCAR Heat 5. If you're looking for a full-blown sim, this ain't it. Think of it more as a simcade, a blend of simulation and arcade. However, if you think of it as a NASCAR game with decent AI, it's not a bad pick. That said, Heat 5 is basically a reskinned version of Heat 4, and honestly, it feels like a cash grab while they're working on a next-gen version of the series. But if online multiplayer is your thing, Heat 5 has more players, so there's that. And on Switch, this game goes by the title NASCAR Heat Ultimate Edition Plus. SRX, the game. This one is also not a NASCAR game, but if you love oval track racing or anything American, this one fits the bill. Inspired by the Superstar racing experience, it brings all the grit and intensity of this motorsport series right to your screen. And even though it feels like the devs may have moved on, the game itself is polished, so you're good there. And even with just a gamepad, the cars handle great. And after putting in some time, you'll be able to push the realism settings like tire wear and flag rules to the max.
Here comes Lightning McQueen. Just look at him moving aside.
Disney Pixar cars. Now, if you're my target audience, you'll know this game, especially from its glory days. Back then, this was the shit. However, this one isn't actually a racing game. In fact, it's more of an action-adventure game that uses racing as its gameplay mechanic. And it's so fun, that's why it's here. I mean, just look at the gameplay. You'll be racing in various settings and tracks, including oval races, as you play as different characters from the movie. So if you don't care about some nerds calling you lame for playing kids' games, go ahead and get this one. NASCAR Heat 4. Alright, let's get real for a second. Heat 4 and Heat 5 are pretty much twins. The main goal of Heat 5 was to give the devs a break to focus on the next big thing, which is ignition. But don't get me wrong, it scratches that racing itch just fine. The AI is decent and definitely better than in Ignition, but it's still not perfect. The racing is generally solid, and you can actually find some multi-groove action out there. So if you can only choose one modern NASCAR game from this list, then this is the one to get. Grid Legends. If you're into using a wheel, this game is pretty decent, though the force feedback isn't as punchy as it was in 2019. However, they've tweaked the physics and handling since 2019, which is cool, but now the cars stick to the road like glue. Makes it feel a bit weird, you know? Anyway, you can enjoy some Simcade NASCAR experience with this game, but just don't expect it to be a proper one, obviously. Overall, it's a great game, especially with no assist and on Expert or Legendary. Daytona USA. Now, this is one of the most legendary arcade racing games out there, and I know it's old, but goddamn it's still fun, even today. And yeah, this is not exactly a NASCAR game if you catch my drift, but how can it not fit in this list? It has Daytona in its title. Surely it has something to do with stock car racing, right? Anyway, this classic is available on the Xbox Series X and Xbox One, and the PC version is already considered abandonware if I'm not mistaken. So, get this one, you won't regret it.
The 24 car is outside. Good pass.
NASCAR Thunder 2004. If you grew up with NASCAR Thunder 2003 and 2004, you know 2004 was just a way more polished game all around. They cranked up the fantasy stuff with more drivers, tracks, and paint schemes, and even threw in a trophy room so you could flex your wins. The career mode UI in 2004 is also super polished compared to 2003, and looking back, Thunder 2004 was probably the peak for a lot of fans, especially with that career mode. Too bad many of us were too young at the time to fully appreciate how good it really was.
The 20 car is getting in your way. Green, green, green.
iRacing. Now, this one is being praised by the sim racing community, and some of them even say that this is the only proper NASCAR simulation game out there. Like, there is nothing that even comes close. However, you should know that iRacing, in my opinion, is only worth it when you have the proper setup like the wheel, pedals, wide monitor, basically the full sim racing setup. And I must let you know that you'll spend money to fully enjoy this one, but worry not, because it's going to be worth it. So if you're a sim racer, this is the one.
Stewart inside. Clear inside. Relax. Go, go, go.
Automobilista 2 with mods. This game covers it all: GT cars, Formula Beasts from different eras, stock cars, karts, and yes, even trucks. However, you might want to install a mod to get a better NASCAR experience. Now, not every car in the game is a dead ringer for its real-life counterpart, but hey, you'll spot some familiar faces out there on the track, and let's talk about the big debate: is this a full-on simulator? Well, opinions may vary, but who cares when the racing's this good? It's immersive, it's fun, and it keeps you coming back for more, simulator label or not. NASCAR Heat. Now, this game is not the modern NASCAR Heat game you might know. This is the OG NASCAR Heat that was released in 2000, back when NASCAR games were many. First things first, of course you shouldn't expect this game to have the best graphics, obviously. However, where this game shines though is in its unique Beat the Heat and Race the Pro modes, which offer challenging scenarios and let you race against the times of actual NASCAR pros. So, if you don't have problems playing old games, maybe try this one. It's also an abandonware right now. Wreckfest with mods. Just like some games in this list, this one is also not a NASCAR game, but rather a racing game where destruction and intense racing are the main elements. However, where this game truly shines is in its crash physics, and despite the availability of driving aids, the game is also the most fun when played with most of them turned off. This forces players to rely on their own abilities to tame the unruly vehicles. Not only that, you can also install the NASCAR Legends mod from Steam, just so you know. Project Cars 2. So, some of you may be asking, why choose this game over the newer one, Project Cars 3, especially since Project Cars 2 isn't available to buy anymore anywhere? Well, Project Cars 3 was developed to be more accessible, as the dev said. But we all know what accessible means, right? It means it's less simulation-focused and more arcade-like, which is disappointing for hardcore fans of Project Cars 2. That's why this title is here, instead of its successor. Anyway, I don't have to tell you how to get this game. If you know, you know. Forza Motorsport. Grip in Forza Motorsport 8, now rebranded as just Forza Motorsport, is more pronounced and authentic, with cars feeling firmly planted on the road surface. Some people might feel this makes the game more arcade-like, but that's okay. And when pushing beyond the capacity of the tires, grip gradually tapers off instead of abruptly dropping, resulting in cars exhibiting a more natural squirming behavior rather than sliding uncontrollably. Moreover, there are some stock cars in this game, so if you're into that, maybe give this one a try. NASCAR SimRacing. Now, I initially wanted to include Chase for the Cup in this list, however, it's not available on PC nor modern platforms, so instead, this title, which is also a great game, is here because it's available on PC, especially as abandonware. The thing with this title is that it can't surpass NASCAR Racing 2003, so it never got into the spotlight. The simulation feeling isn't the best either, as it feels more like a simcade. But as usual, we play games we like, not what other people like. So if you never played it, maybe give it a chance. Assetto Corsa with mods. Now, this is the racing game that can be anything as long as it involves driving a car on a surface. Heck, you can even control a raging T-Rex with your steering wheel. Don't believe me? Look it up on YouTube, you won't regret it. Anyway, if you had to pick only one game for sim racing, I would say this is the game. You can mod it with various maps and vehicles, among other things. It's also so good that more people are playing it compared to its newer release. BeamNG.drive with mods. This game has come a long way from its origins as a funny car wreck simulator, and now people are using it to experience the physics of real cars from the comfort of their rooms and gaming chairs. It's essentially become the GTA Online of driving games, thanks to its extensive mod capabilities and active community. However, it's important to note that this isn't even a proper racing game, as racing isn't the primary focus and it requires mods to fully engage in racing activities. Instead, it's the perfect game if you enjoy crashing your car. Gran Turismo 7. Before you get offended, let me explain something. Yes, I know there are no official modern NASCAR cars in this beautiful game. However, there are old-school NASCAR cars like the Plymouth Superbird 70. Moreover, you play this game for the beauty of it, not for the proper stock car experience. There's something about this game that makes it a masterpiece. So, if you decided not to pick this one up just because it doesn't have officially licensed modern NASCAR cars, you're missing out on a lot. NASCAR Racing 4. This game is also one of the greatest NASCAR games ever made, but just like the others, it's not as popular as NASCAR Racing 2003. That one is on another level of popularity apparently. But with the almost complete lack of mods, there's not a whole lot of reason to go back to this title, at least not for your main game. However, you may be interested in checking it out anyway since the physics differences are really surprising. Oh, and this game is also abandonware right now, so there's no harm in trying it.
Green flag, green.
NASCAR Racing 2003 season. This game stands out as the go-to NASCAR game according to the community, largely due to its low price, extensive modding capabilities, and realistic driving feel. It's one of the few games where you can set up scenarios to accurately replicate high-stakes situations like the Big One or even flips at Talladega, making the experience feel authentic. The AI can be quirky at times, however, but it remains one of the best for oval racing. And while iRacing is often mentioned as a competitor, nothing beats the low price point of this game. So do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.